If you took every red blood cell out of one human body and lined them up end to end, they would wrap around the Earth 4 times. The average adult holds about 25 trillion of them, each one roughly 7 micrometers across. A single drop of your blood contains around 5 million. They circulate through your body once every 60 seconds. Each cell carries oxygen by binding it to a molecule called hemoglobin, then drops it off in tissue that needs it. A red blood cell lives for about 120 days. After that, your spleen recycles it, breaking it apart and pulling out the iron to build a new one. Your bone marrow makes about 2 million replacements every second. If you laid the entire 25 trillion in a single row, the line would stretch over 175,000 kilometers. The Earth's circumference is 40,000. That line is hidden inside you right now, folded, looping, pumping through 96,000 kilometers of blood vessels, end to end, faster than the line itself could travel if you unspooled it. She was strapped into seat 26F on January 26, 1972, when the airplane behind her broke apart in mid-air. Vesna Vulovic was a 22-year-old flight attendant on a JAT flight over what is now Czechia. A bomb in the cargo hold detonated at exactly 33,330 feet. The plane split into 3 pieces in seconds. The tail section, which held her, did not fall straight down. It rotated, spun, and acted like a rough metal parachute, slowing the fall and creating drag against the freezing air. The fuselage shielded her body from the worst of the impact. She struck a heavily wooded mountainside covered in 1 meter of fresh snow. The trees and snow absorbed enough of the impact to keep her alive. A villager found her with broken legs, a fractured skull, and 3 crushed vertebrae, but breathing. She held the Guinness World Record for the highest survived fall without a parachute, 10,160 meters, about 6.3 miles. She lived another 44 years and never feared flying again. Inside the wing of every commercial airliner, the fuel tank is not one chamber. It is divided into 2, and the smaller one is the reason you ever land. The main fuel tank holds the kerosene used during cruise, but just inside the inboard end of the wing, against the fuselage, sits a smaller sealed compartment called the reserve, or sometimes the surge tank. It holds about 200 to 400 kilograms of fuel. This reserve does not connect to the engines under normal flow. It is sealed behind a one-way valve. Fuel can pass into it from the main tank during a turn or a steep climb, but it cannot pass back out unless ordered. If the main tank runs critically low, the reserve releases its supply through that valve. The flow gives the engines enough fuel for an extra 10 to 15 minutes of flight, long enough to reach a runway from cruise altitude. Every commercial flight you have ever taken landed because a sealed box of fuel was waiting inside the wing, just in case. The beam inside your microwave is moving at 299,792,000 kilometers per second. You could not run from it, even if you knew it was coming. A microwave fires invisible electromagnetic waves the same way a radio tower does, just at a much higher frequency. Those waves are not particles flying out. They are pulses of electric and magnetic energy traveling at the speed of light. If you opened your microwave and stood inside the empty box while it ran, the beam would cross from the emitter to the far wall in about 0.000000001 seconds, faster than any signal in your own nervous system could fire. But the beam itself wouldn't cook you instantly. Its frequency is tuned to vibrate water molecules, and it takes about 30 seconds of constant exposure before the water inside your body heats meaningfully. A microwave doesn't burn you with speed. It burns you with patience. The beam arrives every nanosecond, hitting the same patch of skin millions of times in the time it takes you to flinch. Imagine the door clicks shut behind you. The air conditioning hums for another 4 minutes, then stops. You are alone in a sealed room, and you don't know yet that no one is coming. For the first 30 minutes, you feel nothing different. The room holds about 50,000 liters of air, and you have all the oxygen you need. After 1 hour, the temperature starts to climb. Your body produces about 100 watts of heat just by being alive, and there's nowhere for that heat to go. The room warms by 1 degree every 20 minutes. After 3 hours, the carbon dioxide you exhale has built up to a level your brain notices. You feel slightly dizzy. Your breathing speeds up automatically. After 6 hours, the oxygen level has dropped from 21% to about 17%. Your reaction time slows. Decision-making starts to fail. You don't realize this is happening because the part of your brain that judges itself is the same part that is failing. The room doesn't kill you with heat or with suffocation alone. It kills you by quietly removing your ability to notice. You sit down to rest, and you don't get back up.
Flip an empty soda can upside down. You'll see a dome curving inward at the base, about 6 millimeters deep. That dome is not for stacking. It's the only reason the can doesn't explode in your hand. A sealed aluminum can holds carbonated liquid pressurized to roughly 380 kilopascals. That's about 3.8 times atmospheric pressure, similar to a car tire inflated by hand. The thin aluminum wall is only 0.1 millimeter thick, thinner than a human hair. A flat bottom against that pressure would either bow outward or split. The inward dome works in the opposite direction. The curve redirects the internal pressure outward across the entire dome surface, distributing the force evenly. Engineers borrowed the principle from Roman arches built 2,000 years ago. A standard can survives forces up to 620 kilopascals before failing. The dome makes a 0.1 millimeter wall behave like steel. Without it, every drop you've ever opened would have ruptured on the shelf. The Coca-Cola Company alone ships 1.9 billion of those domes every single day. The cable snapped at 11:42 in the morning on September 19, 1986. There were 4 people inside the elevator, and they had about 4 seconds before impact. The hotel was the Maria Isabel Sheridan in Mexico City. A magnitude 8.0 earthquake had shaken the building for 3 full minutes. Inside the structure, the elevator's primary cable had stretched, frayed, and finally given way 18 floors up. The car began to fall in free descent. At normal gravity, that distance takes a little over 4 seconds, but the elevator was equipped with the Otis safety brake, a system invented in 1853 and built into the rails of nearly every elevator since. The moment the cable went slack, a flat metal spring on the roof of the car snapped outward. Steel teeth on each end bit hard into the vertical guide rails on both sides of the shaft. The car stopped 6 inches above the basement floor. All 4 passengers walked out with no broken bones. A 133-year-old spring caught them. The thing that saves you in an elevator was already older than the elevator.
A full glass of water on a high shelf does one thing. The same glass on the floor does something completely different. Both contain the exact same liquid, only the position has changed. Your spine works the same way. It is a stack of 33 separate bones connected by 23 soft cushions of cartilage. Each cushion holds water inside it, about 80% water in a young adult. When you stand upright, gravity slowly squeezes that water out of each cushion. Over a normal 16-hour day, you lose about 1.5 centimeters of height. By the evening, you are measurably shorter than you were in the morning. When you sit, the pressure on those cushions increases by 40% compared to standing. When you slouch forward over a desk, it doubles again. The water is squeezed harder and faster. When you sleep flat, gravity is no longer pulling along your spine. The cushions slowly absorb water back. Over 7 to 8 hours, you regain that 1.5 centimeters. You wake up taller than you went to sleep every single day of your life. A glass of water in a high place, a glass of water on the floor, the same water. The position is the spine.